I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the slides, even though we have a couple more minutes that we'll still be welcoming people in before we get started. Just wanted to give everybody a chance to see their neighbors and everyone in gallery view and say, wave hello, see the festive attire everyone's wearing. Welcome, thank you everyone for coming to our election celebration and holiday party today.
We only have 2 people in the waiting room at the moment. If our 2 checking people will each take one and then ask them what their name is so we can get people in.
We just put up 2 more messages about the how to
get in.
Yeah. And now there's only 1 left. Ryan McLaren, I'll get him.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We sure can.
Hey, Tommy.
Welcome, Peter. See if we can unmute him. Oh, he disappeared. Where did he go? If anyone sees Peter, I just saw him. Unmute him, okay? Volunteers?
He may have been having some connection issues, Linda. It doesn't look like he's in the meeting at the moment.
Yep, looks like he had to drop back out again, so.
Would you like me to share the agenda while we're waiting for him to come back in?
Yes, that'd be wonderful.
Sure. And I think I just admitted the last person who had used the broken link. So there's nobody in the waiting room right now. Okay.
There we go. So I will call this meeting to order. For those who do not know me, I'm Linda Gravel, a Washington County Chair. And we have a wonderful agenda coming up tonight in our election celebration and holiday party. The reason we're getting together is to celebrate not only those who won, but the volunteers that help us get through the selection of our candidates. They do forums, they do honk and waves, they do postcards, they do phone banks and texting. Our volunteers are never given enough credit for all they do to help us get our candidates elected. So that tonight we are honoring our volunteers and celebrating the winners. The first thing I'm going to do is check to make sure we have a quorum, which we do. We do indeed. So while we're waiting for Peter to come in, the voting county delegates I am going to ask you to raise your hand to approve the October meeting minutes. You should have gotten a copy attached to your email invitation to this. So if you are a voting delegate, and we have 29 in the meeting at the moment, could you please raise your hand in the chat box? In the blue hand in the chat box. Or the participants list, excuse me, participants list.
Linda,
Yes.
this is Judy Daly, but it says that I'm Elaine Ball. I don't know why that's happening.
We know why it's happening. I will
Okay,
change
so-
your name. Thank
I
you.
Yeah,
just-
because I need to be able to vote.
I
Yeah.
just sent her a,
I see. Okay, thank you.
There we go.
And it does look like Peter is back. So if we would like, if your sound is working, maybe.
It is. I am back. Did I miss this?
Excellent.
Did I miss a slideshow?
Yeah, I guess you did, Peter. Yeah. All right, it looks like we have enough. Is there anyone who wishes to vote against the meeting minutes? Opposed? I'm going to put the hands down, and if you are opposed, please put your hand up. I don't see any, so the meeting minutes have passed. Thank you, Congressman Peter Welch, for joining us today. We are thrilled to have you with us. Peter Welch has been representing Vermonters in Congress since 2006, where he is a chief deputy whip of the House Democratic Caucus, a member of the Democratic Steering and Policy Committee, and serves on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and the House Committee on Energy and Commerce. Prior to his time in Congress, Congressman Welch served as the Vermont State Senate President Pro Tem, Vermont State Senator, and worked as a public defender prior to founding a small law firm practice. He resides in Norwich, Vermont. We are thrilled to have you as our speaker. And here he is, Congressman Welch.
Well, I am thrilled to be here with you. It looks like we've got some good costumes there, and I think Molly and I are underdressed for the occasion. Molly, we should be doing a better job. I do want to start out by congratulating Molly for her extraordinary victory. We're really proud of you, Molly, and it's going to be a tremendous leadership team you're working with in the Senate. The first woman to be President Pro Tem, and of course, Allison Clarkson. Becca Balin, of course, is our President Pro Tem, and of course, Allison Clarkson is our Majority Leader. So we all wish you luck, and we're very excited about your exciting victory. Actually, it's pretty inspiring. It's really good to be with all of you. This whole COVID thing is truly bizarre. You know, usually our family, we all have these stories, but our family usually have like 20, 25, sometimes 30 people. And the holiday, just Thanksgiving, has always been in my family really the biggest one in many ways. And it was Margaret and me this year. And we got our turkey dinner from Bruce, who runs Carpenter in Maine. It was really good. And we set a really, really nice table, and we had a nice long dinner. And, but it's just really, really different. You know, it is. And that's true all around Vermont for everybody. And just that tension that people felt about wanting to follow the normal routine during Thanksgiving, that's so grounding, you know, to check in with your family, sometimes them traveling to you, sometimes you traveling to them. But the rituals that are so associated with the Thanksgiving, planning the meal, so many people preparing it, then having the meal, and then taking that walk on Thanksgiving Day that we always took with a lot of us, and then coming back and having dessert. And then, pardon me, then the cleanup. I mean, all of these things that are effort, but they're also they kind of ground us, the rituals that are part of everyday life. And they've all been interrupted, of course, by COVID. And it's important for us as we try to get through this to try to find some other rituals. Can we take a walk with a friend? Well, we can do that under current guidelines, but will we organize it and make certain that we do it? Will we pay attention to our partners? Will we pay attention to the people close to us in our life and do it in a somewhat systematic way, not random? And I think that's really essential for our well-being to get through this emotionally as well as personally. On the, we're with the Washington County Democrats, so I'll talk a little bit about the election. I could not believe, and I look forward to hearing from you, how joyful I felt when it was clear that Vice President Biden was going to be the new president. It just felt like this millstone that I didn't know I was carrying around on my shoulders had fallen off. It was those years of Trump, starting with, the first thing he did was ban Muslims from coming into this country. It was a ban that was based on their religion. That's how we got started. And then, of course, he's kind of saving some of his worst conduct for the end, claiming that the entire decision that the American people made in a free and fair election was rigged and bogus and fake, and everything in between, where we just saw that the responsibilities all of us have to maintain a democracy were challenged and shattered. The use of office for his personal gain, the disregard of science, the first president in my lifetime that saw as his governing strategy racism and nationalism and division, and did not regard unity as anything that was a worthwhile pursuit. So it really challenged, I think, the country. And of course, it really challenged us in Vermont. How do we get through this? But the good news is Joe Biden won. And I think he has the prospects of being a really good president, because I think there's so much grassroots activity that has been advocating for a lot of the issues that Molly and others were advocating in their campaigns. It's economic and racial justice. It's finally addressing climate change and seeing the hope and opportunity that is part of our willingness to acknowledge a problem, face it, and address it, as opposed to deny it, pretend it's not there. And of course, practical things like getting broadband deployed throughout this entire state in the most rural parts of Vermont. All of these things that are so essential to us building our economy, creating a sense of community, and strengthening those ties that bind us together. And that's the work that we have an opportunity to do, because we now have a leader in Joe Biden who actually wants us to do that work and will be our partner. I was talking, I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Molly, but a couple of times we were talking during your campaign, I was telling you what really disappointed me when I ran for governor in 1990 and I lost. And of course, it's disappointing to lose a race. But what's so disappointing is that most of us were involved in politics, whether we're running for office or we're volunteering, we're serving on the county committee, we're volunteering for a friend's campaign. We're doing it because we want the opportunity to do the work. The campaign is a means to an end, and the end is to serve. And that opportunity to actually have folks who represent our desire that we face climate change, that we build out broadband and make it affordable for every kid in Vermont, that we deal with racial injustice that has been such a legacy of slavery in our country, from slavery through Jim Crow. It's that opportunity to do that work, because we know in the doing that work, we're going to make ourselves better people, and we're going to make stronger communities, and we're going to get the joy of seeing people have an opportunity to fulfill themselves in very useful and constructive ways. So whatever role we play in this, from being a candidate to being a volunteer, it's all of us trying to do what we can where we are so that collectively we can do the work. And that's how I feel so excited about the fact that when we return to Washington, it's going to be Joe Biden who's president. And already we're seeing with the kind of appointees he's making, both in foreign policy, where we're going to re-engage with the world, in domestic and economic policy, where we're going to remember that we've got to work hard to revitalize the middle class and address root issues of poverty. It's not easy work to do, but it's the work we want to do. And we're not asking for an easy path forward. We're asking for the opportunity to create a path forward. So with all the challenges we have with the COVID crisis here in the country and in Vermont, we do know that the vaccine is here. It's effective. There are incredible challenges to deploying it, but the end is in sight. And in the meantime, job one is going to be to try to stabilize the economy. It's to pass some legislation with money that comes back to Vermont so that our state house and the governor can use that for the benefit of Vermonters and help us get through it. I hope that what we're going to be able to do as well is make certain that a lot of those community institutions are nonprofits, our restaurants, our performance spaces, these local institutions that do so much to improve the quality and vitality of local life, that they're going to be able to hang on until we get to the other side of COVID and they can reopen fully and restore the vibrancy to our communities. And the biggest fear I have is that if we don't come up with the additional help that they need to make it to the other side, I don't want us to be on the other side of COVID and have left them behind. I'm excited about next year. As weird, as strange as it's going to be. You know, who knows what kind of inauguration we'll have? It obviously can't be what we had with President Obama. There'll be some social distancing, but as I said, the important thing is that we've got a president who shares our values, who wants us to do the hard work, and will be our partner in that. So I want to thank you again personally for the help that you gave me in my reelection. I can't tell you what a joy it is for me in my life to have this opportunity where each day I have a job where when I wake up, I can do something helpful to Vermont and for Vermonters. So why don't I stop there, and I look forward to hearing your questions or comments or observations. And it's really wonderful to be with you at this virtual meeting.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, Representative Wells. We really appreciate your visiting with us today, and we find it's very encouraging that that we're in a position to steer the country in a much better direction.
Yeah, and you did it.
We have time for one brief question. And the question is there any indication that there will be action taken against members of the Trump administration for crimes that may have been committed during their term in office?
You know, I think that if there's crimes committed, people should be held accountable. So let's start with that proposition. All right, I do believe that, and obviously I supported impeachment when it became clear that what the president did was essentially try to shake down the prime minister of Ukraine. I know that that won't be the focus of the Biden administration. They're going to want to be moving forward on their progressive agenda, but I do think that there are local attorneys generals, like in New York State or in New York City, with respect to President Trump, where there's serious questions about tax issues, loan documentation. And those investigations have been ongoing and it'll be up to those prosecutors. And I don't know anything more than you do. But if there is investigation where there's significant evidence of having crossed a line, then I would not be surprised to see those prosecutors pursue that.
Thank you very much.
We feel we are really lucky to have you representing us, Peter. You bring a lot of things back to the state of Vermont for the people of Vermont, but you also work for the country across the aisle and to try to bring people together. And unity is very important right now.
Right.
So we feel we are very lucky to have you representing us. Congratulations on your winning the election in 2020.
Great.
We are thrilled.
All right. Thank you, Linda. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Congressman.
Next on the agenda, we have Treasurer's Report. Steve Willis. Let's see if we can find Steve to unmute him. Here we go. Elaine, do you have a copy of the Treasurer's Report? If not, I do. Yep, there we go. Are you there, Steve?
I am ready.
All right, you're up.
Okay, well, I think rather than my reading off all the numbers to you, I certainly can entertain any questions. You might note that in the expenses, I only have paid out for 5 of the gift certificates. The reason for that is the 5th one, the Stowe Street Cafe, they have e-gift cards. So once whoever wins, I will get in touch with them and I will arrange to have the gift certificate sent to them. But are there any questions at all of what you see in front of you?
I'm happy to have the balance to where it is. That's the way I look at it. I think the balance of $1,419 is really good, especially after we made our expenses for the election. So
Yes, yes.
If anybody else does have questions, we could, you could go to the participant panel to raise your hand so that one of our co-hosts could unmute you.
And I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Oh, thank you, but treasurer's reports don't need to be approved, only meeting minutes. So
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We will move on then. Thank you very much, Steve.
Well, I would just like to say, I don't want to take credit for some of the spelling on there, but we can understand what it is.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have our next guest speaker, Senator Rebecca Balint, Vermont State President Pro Temp. Congratulations.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Our senator has been representing Windham County in the state Senate since 2015, having served as the Vermont Senate Majority Leader since 2017. And on the Senate Institutions Committee, the Economic Development and Housing Committee, the Judicial Rules Committee, the Education Committee as Vice Chair, and as the current chair of the Senate Sexual Harassment Prevention Panel. Prior to politics, our senator enjoyed a career in education, spent teaching in public and private schools in New England, as well as the Community College of Vermont. And she resides in Brattleboro, Vermont. It's really great to have you, and here she is.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. This is a night of celebration. not just for all the electeds who are on the call, who are successful, but also for all the incredible volunteers. As Linda said earlier, and as Peter Welch alluded to, we need all the volunteers on the ground to be successful in any campaign. So in this moment, I want us to really think about where each of us were on the morning that the presidential race was finally called for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I was out walking with my dog in my neighborhood in Brattleboro when the news came down finally, and I could hear horns honking and pots banging and people shouting. And it felt as if so many millions of people could finally breathe again, could feel hopeful again, could believe that we were once again on the path towards justice and liberty and righteousness. And I want us to remember those moments because we need them in order for us to write a new story of our nation. I really want to be explicit tonight and name it. We are writing a critical chapter in America's story, the story of an ongoing, unfulfilled quest for liberty and true justice for all. And I think we will meet this moment, but only if we realize the gravity of the moment and bring with us the power and the energy that comes from deep celebration for defeating Trumpism at the ballot box. Now, as a historian, I'm keenly interested in how the story will be told about the last 4 years and about this election. The story of this election is undoubtedly, in part, the story of the labor of Black women in our country. America has been saved from the destruction of our republic because of the fierce organizing of Southern Black women like Stacey Abrams, who launched Fair Fight, and LaTosha Brown, who co-founded Black Voters Matter. Joe Biden was able to win because of Black women in this nation. Kamala Harris was able to win because of Black women, turning up for Democrats time and time again. These are the women who inspire me and give me strength in my own work. They give me courage when it falters, and they give me strength when I have self-doubt. Now, I'm about to be elected the first female president pro tem in the history of the Vermont Senate. And I will also be the first LGBTQ legislator to lead either chamber. And this will be an exciting moment for so many people across our state. And it's going to be somewhat scary and intimidating to others, because I may challenge long-held ideas about what a leader looks like. But as we do this work of collective action towards justice, we can help each other to continue to pivot towards hope and courage. We can channel our curiosity and wonder and our belief that we really can make positive change. We have to help each other imagine new and different endings to our stories. We have to tell new stories about who we are and what this nation can become. And we can and we will do this together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moderators.
Very brief question, and that is, do you have specific priorities that you'd like to list in briefly?
So our number one priority in the Senate, and I speak on behalf of the Democratic caucus, we met briefly last week, but we have our big caucus to talk about priorities in the upcoming week. But our big priority is COVID relief, pandemic relief. We have thousands and thousands of Vermonters who are suffering, who have exhausted their unemployment insurance claims. We're waiting desperately on another CARES package from the federal government. If that does not come through, we are going to have very dire months ahead of us. So I speak on behalf of the entire Senate. That is our top priority. And from that priority, we will build other priorities, but that is first and foremost what we'll be doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I have another question for Becca Balint. What can we do here in Vermont to better support and raise up Black women in Vermont and the Vermont Democratic Party?
It's a great question. So I'm hoping everyone is following what's happening in Georgia right now. I imagine this is a group of people who's keenly aware of what's going on in Georgia. Certainly donating money to Fair Fight is a great place to put your money. The other is the Movement Voter Project is an amazing organization that does a lot of grassroots organizing through women, Black women specifically, I should say through Black communities and Black women specifically. And so certainly you can give your money, but the other thing I want people to think about doing is really thinking about the ways in which you can engage people within your own communities that feel marginalized in some way, whether it is people of color in our communities, LGBTQ people that have not felt they have an avenue into the county process. I know we as Democrats really need to think carefully in Vermont about how we bring younger people, people of color, queer people into the party going forward. We have to find a way also to speak across the aisle more clearly in Vermont, because our values as Democrats are the values of the working class. And they have been for so long. And we need to get back to those roots of being able to cross political lines and engage people on our party platform. Because when we do it on policy, it's a winner. It's always a winner.
Thank you very much.
Your message, the message of the Democratic Party is so important. I think that the National Democratic Party hasn't been strong enough on their message. I think it's important that the Vermont Democratic Party and the leaders that we have in the legislature put our message out there so that everyone, especially the rural people, understand who we stand for. So thank you.
Linda, could I just take 30 seconds?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
When we talk about working people, we often have an idea in our mind about who those workers are. And I just want to leave you with one thing to think about. 67% of the people who are collecting unemployment right now in Vermont because of this pandemic are women. Women make up almost all of the service jobs here in Vermont. And it's not just particular to our state, it's across the country. The majority of the people who are out of work right now are women. So we have to get better about speaking to women and their experiences right now. There's a reason why well, I can go on, but I just want us to think about that. We have to flesh out who are these people who we talk about when we talk about the working people of America.
Thank you so much. Your message is very important. And if you need our assistance during the legislative session, please call upon us to help you push bills through. We are with you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Molly Gray. She is the Lieutenant Governor-elect. Molly Gray was elected in November 2020 to serve as Vermont's next Lieutenant Governor and will take office in January of 2021. Molly has most recently served Vermont as an Assistant Attorney General and has worked as an adjunct professor at the Vermont Law School. Previously, she worked as the Law and Policy Manager for the International Code of Conduct Association, as Congressional Affairs Associate for the International Committee of the Red Cross, and as a law clerk to the Honorable Peter Hall on the U.S. Court of Appeals. She resides in Burlington. Welcome, Molly.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you, Washington County Democrats. I was thinking earlier when you were talking about the time limits and the moderators, I was having flashbacks to the resiliency of our county Democratic parties in the primary and the incredible debate that you hosted. So it's great to be back. Like Senator Ballin, I was thinking tonight about my remarks and reflecting back on the days after the election and that feeling of Biden won. And then the feelings over the last couple of weeks around what comes next and seeing the true colors of the outgoing President Donald Trump. And while there's so much hope, our country, our government, our democracy has been tested in every way possible. But rather than reflecting on that, I wanted to talk tonight, because this is a celebration, because I'm inherently a positive person, I think it's time for us to think about the future and the go forward. I came up with 5 points, things that I'd like to celebrate about the election and where we're headed. First, actually, is the resiliency of democracy. And I've been thinking about how much our democracy was tested, right, in every way in the last 4 years. And how, especially here in Vermont, you all, we all, our Secretary of State, our town clerks, were critical in hosting mail-in ballot elections. And that we did it, and we did it well. And in many ways showed the nation that Vermont can continue to lead on running free, fair, and open elections. Second, our ability to lead. And time again, Vermont leads, right? On civil rights, on human rights, on agriculture. And here we are leading in the response to COVID-19. And I was thinking this morning about VPR and how there were so many stories of people traveling all over the nation. And here in Vermont, how we've all been so good about following the rules and looking out for each other and looking out for our neighbors. And that doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of work to do, but in the spirit of celebration, I think that's something we can celebrate. Third, that I think we have the best congressional delegation in the country. And that I know we have Congressman Welch and Senator Leahy and Senator Sanders fighting so hard for our small state and the small state minimum and making sure that we'll get proper COVID relief funds. Number 4, that the Vermont Senate just elected President Pro Tem Becca Balint to lead the Senate, but that also comes with, and I hope I'm not jumping the gun here, Jill Krawinski, hopefully as Speaker of the House, and what I think will be, and potentially 6 or 7 women in the State House in leadership, myself included. And that is incredibly historic for Vermont. That's incredibly exciting. And yes, it makes some people nervous, and that's a good thing. But I look forward to working with these incredible women who I see as trailblazers and as mentors and friends to do a lot of good for Vermont. I also look forward to serving with Washington County senators and representatives. And number 5, most importantly, I want to thank all of you and just recognize the Washington County Democrats in particular. Thank you for your support. Thank you for making calls. Thank you for those who endorsed, who gave pep talks, who reached out during the campaign, the incredible support, and especially as a first-time candidate. And I know it takes a lot to sort of step forward and kind of take a leap of faith on someone. And I will never forget it. I appreciate it. I look forward to working with you. And I'm just so deeply grateful. And especially for this county, which I don't know, you guys just bring the voters, bring the heat. So congrats to you all. I want to talk a little bit about where we're going. And
We're at 4 minutes.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. And I think where we're going is we can either fight the change or be the change. And this is our moment to grow the Democratic Party in Vermont, to bring in voices, to bring in people who don't feel that government always represents them. And with that, I want to close with Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote that I've been thinking about and saying a lot, but really having it being anchor as I prepared to take office in January. And that is, this is our moment to fight for the things we care about, but do it in a way that brings others to join us. So please stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected. I look forward to working with you, hearing from you, and sharing information about inauguration as soon as that's available. But thank you so much. Happy holidays, and stay in touch.
Thank you.
And I don't need to take any questions. I went over my time. Sorry.
Thank you.
It is wonderful to hear from you, Molly. Next, I'm going to give a report on the assistant judge vacancy. Washington County has a vacancy at this called a side judge position. We did some searching earlier and then we started a second search. So for the second search, I'm going to give a little update. We have had a fair amount of interest. 26 people have showed interest, sent me emails asking for more information about the position. And we have 9 applicants right now. So we are going to have the opposite difficulty in the next meeting with trying to get all these people a chance to present themselves. So I am going to be asking for volunteers to help with that meeting. The current meeting we have right now, we have 10 volunteers to run this meeting. And when we're doing voting, which we will be doing for the assistant judge position, we will need even more volunteers to help with the voting. But we can't run these meetings like this without volunteers. And I think a lot of you showed interest in the October meeting because of the assistant judge vacancy. So I'm going to ask people to step up in the January meeting, which is the 4th Monday of January, the January 25th. Because that's when the voting for the assistant judges will take place. The deadline for receiving applications is January 15th, so it is still open for another month. And I'd like to thank the volunteers that have been putting out the Front Porch Forum postings. Obviously, they're getting a lot of attention to have this many people interested in the position. So thank you to the volunteers who have been helping with this effort. Now we are ready for what everyone's been waiting for, the first set of prizes. These are prizes for whoever registered early for this event. It is so much easier to run this event if people register early. So we thought we would give out 2 prizes to people who registered early. So we are calling this prize the Early Bird Gets the Worm. Theo Kennedy will be giving us the drawing. Take it away, Theo.
Hey, well, good evening, everyone. What wonderful speakers. And, you know, for me anyway, in these unprecedented times, we do have a lot to be thankful for, to be hopeful for, and to celebrate. So what we wanted to do was spin this wheel. Until I get through this technological feat, I'm not going to thank our communications director, Elaine Ball, but I think everyone sees the spin wheel. And again, as Linda said, the first 2 prizes are going to be for those who registered early. And these events are hard to pull off. Linda is a magician, and getting registered early helps a lot. So what I did is I cut and pasted everyone who registered at least 24 hours prior. And the possible choices, if you win, you'll have to select from, and I'm going to name them because it's so great that folks step forward. The Falls General Store in Northfield, the Hunger Mountain Co-op in Montpelier, the Mad Taco is located in both Montpelier and Waitsfield, the Quarry Kitchen and Spirits in Barrie, the Red Hen Baking Co. in Middlesex, and Stowe Street Cafe in Waterbury. So $25 gift certificates. And here we go for the early registrants. So Fran, are you with us, Fran? I think if you're not here, we're going to proceed. So do the volunteers spot Fran in the attendee list? Well, she was an early registrant, but may not be with us now.
Fran is not identified as being present.
Okay, so I'm going to spin again. Bear with us, folks. This is a novel effort and kind of exciting. Here we go. I think she's very deserving. She may have left us, but well, I think we should, what do you think, Madam Chair?
Did she register early?
Well, she was, I tried to filter according to those who had.
Then I think we should give it to her. What do you guys think?
And she registered early but never showed up as far as I can see.
Well, she presented, she was our,
Molly Gray came up.
all right. Well, you know what? Let's, I'm gonna note that she won, but we'll give folks here a chance to choose their preference, okay? So that was the first winner. I'm gonna take her out and we're gonna proceed to the second spin. Yay, Gloria. Is Gloria with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, awesome. Well, congratulations, Gloria. So what would you like to receive as a $25 gift certificate? Do you remember the list? I don't need to go them through. Does anyone jump out at you?
I guess what I am so, I've got a good life and I would like to donate it to somebody.
Okay, well, that is so generous and sweet, and that's certainly, you're entitled to do that. So I think what I'm gonna do is remove you from the spin and do it again. Hang in, everybody. This is a novel effort, so we're gonna do it again. Thank you so much, Gloria.
You're welcome.
Nancy Claremont. Is Nancy with us?
Yes.
Hi, Nancy. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Do any of these, the Falls General Store, Hunger Mountain Co-op, the Mad Taco, the Quarry Kitchen, Red Hen Baking Co., or Stowe Street Cafe?
I'll do the Hunger Mountain Co-op, and we'll donate it to our family at the hospital that we give to every year.
Oh, that is super. That's awesome. So we, Nancy's got that one. And that's it for me now. I'm going to come back in a little bit after we hear from Liz, right?
That's right.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
So there's a group of volunteers that actually run our elections. The election officials and the justice of the peace. And most of the time, most of us have no idea exactly what they do behind the scenes. So I have asked Liz Schlegel to tell us about Justice of the Peace and how they run their elections and what goes on behind the curtain that we don't really see. Liz has been active in Waterbury politics and community activities since 1996. Since 2000, she's actively worked to elect Democrats to the legislature and has also helped many other candidates run for office from school board and select board to governor. Liz has been the chair of the Waterbury Democratic County Town Committee since the mid-2000s and was elected as the Justice of the Peace in 2006. For the past dozen years, she has been the chair of the Board of Civil Authority in Waterbury, helping the town clerk supervise elections. Take it away, Liz.
Thanks, Linda. I want to say thanks to all of you for being here and for letting me speak, and happy holidays, every holiday, including Hanukkah and Thanksgiving and all the other holidays that come between now and Epiphany. There's just so much to celebrate. I was so excited when Peter was talking about that November 5th or 6th moment when you heard all the horns beeping. I went out in my backyard downtown in Waterbury and it was silent as could be since I live next to the cemetery. And I just thought, oh, I should start banging on pots and pans, which was not scary because, of course, the cemetery. So being a Justice of the Peace, I always say to folk, it is one part elections, one part marriages, one part property tax appeals. Those are the components of this job. And you really have to love community and love bureaucracy a little bit to want to do it. It is partisan in that you have to put a party next to your name, right, on the ballot. It is elected in November, which are typically party races. So people run as Democrats or Republicans or independents. But once you are elected, there is no party, right? It is about the job of getting more people to the polls and making the polls as welcoming as possible, and marrying people if they ask you to marry them, and dealing with property tax appeals, which has an impact on the whole community, right? Because when you give someone a break on their taxes, everybody else pays for it. So it is a really interesting volunteer position to which you're elected. And you learn a lot from it. And I am really appreciative of everybody who does it, because it really is the kind of work that nobody ever thanks anybody for. So thank you, Linda, for thanking us, you know, and for recognizing the work that's done. I did want to end a little early in case people had questions, and if not, that's fine. We can move forward so we don't go too over, because I know Representative Welch took a little more time than planned. So if folks have questions, throw them out there. But if not.
Moderators, do we have any questions for Liz? I guess I'll ask a question if there's no questions. We have about 85 justices of peace, it looks like, in the county over the course of the county. I actually sent out invitations to every single one of them to join us today. And I guess I'm trying to get a feel for, during an election cycle, what is it they do? Do they actually check people in at the election polls, for example? Do
so
they
the roles are different at each location, right? But for us in Waterbury, right, we had our JPs checking people in and out. We actually had a couple of dozen extra volunteers because some of the national groups inspired people to volunteer, which was lovely. And so we had people doing making sure you were one cow apart, and providing extra masks and hand sanitizer, and helping people figure out where to go to keep everybody the appropriate distance apart. And then, you know, kind of standing over the machine. In most of Washington County, people use the machines. There's a paper ballot that is computer counted, and feeding them in. So mostly it's about being nice and being able to be really patient with people. Lots of people, when they come to the polls, they're very nervous, and they're fired up for their candidate, or they haven't voted in a few years, and they are stepping foot in the elementary school maybe, or the middle school where they haven't been in a long time. So they're nervous. And so the most important quality on election day is being kind and patient.
That is you all over, Liz.
I don't know about that, but it was super fun to manage a whole bunch of volunteers. And speaking of volunteers, I did just want to say, Molly, I texted her to tell her that she won, and she said, please put it back in for a volunteer, because that's where that should go, because they are the ones who really make things happen.
That's nice. That's really nice of her. Thank you, Liz.
Linda?
Yes.
If I may, I may just add that the JPs are normally members of the Board of Civil Authority and the Board of Appeals. The chief election official, at least in our town, is the town clerk. JPs are entitled to participate in the election, in the electoral process. Normally, our roles are assigned by the chief election officer, which is the town clerk. So we have the difficult job of passing on appeals from and other matters like that. Within the electoral process, we're entitled to be among those who count the votes and run the election process, but under the direction of the chief election officer in town, which is the town clerk. And I might add that Gwen Hallsmith, who's on here somewhere, replaced me as JP in Cabot. We have, I think, 7 JPs, and they're all Democrats. So, thank you, Liz.
Thank you. As a retiring justice of the peace in Montpelier, I've also been a justice of the peace in Moortown, in Berlin, and Barrie. And every single town and city does it differently. And some places, the people that work at the polls are paid, as they were in Waitsfield. And other places, they're volunteers. So I stepped down this year. I'm still a JP until I'm replaced, but I decided I didn't need another year as a justice of the peace.
I would like to thank all the JPs that came and didn't come for their service. It is a public service. So I want to thank them all for doing this and helping us to run democratic elections, nonpartisan. Thank you. And to show our appreciation, we would now like to award some prizes to the JPs that have showed up today.
Yes, so as a JP myself for many times, it's a great role. It's part of the fabric of our community, and I appreciate Liz's and other folks' words. To my consternation, the filter taking everyone out who wasn't a JP seemed not to have worked exactly. So I'm asking your good graces, and when I spin this, if you're not a JP, just say so and we'll move. But here we're gonna go, we're gonna do 2 spins in thankful recognition for all the JPs. All right, is Kimberly Cheney here with us? I didn't see, is he there?
I don't think Kim was here.
Okay, so we're just gonna keep going in the interest of time. I've removed him and we can all get excited here. There's a JP winner out there. Leslie Waltz. I think she's.
I think she is a JP.
Yes, and you're here. Are you here with us? Congratulations. Can we unmute her or?
I don't see her on the participants list. Anybody see her?
Yeah, it's with the waltzes.
There we go.
Yeah. So do you have a preference, what you'd like to, you've won a $25 gift certificate and thank you for your service. Up for grabs is the Falls General Store, the Mad Taco, the Quarry Kitchen and Spirits, Red Hen Baking Co., or Stowe Street Cafe.
I think the Quarry, and we're into the donation mode, and I think I would really like to donate this to our city clerk, who has done an amazing job through the coronavirus time. She's been incredible, and I think would really appreciate that.
That's super. That's exactly what this is about. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do is assign them to the winners, and you'll each go ahead and pass them on. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
And one more spin of the wheel for me, at least, and for in honor of our JPs. Here we go. That is quite fitting. Liz.
Right, Liz.
I think that needs to be passed along again. I cannot possibly accept anything.
Okay, off we go. It was fun that you won for a moment there. We got to celebrate. Here we go.
Can you share your screen?
Aren't I sharing my screen?
No, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can see it. I can see it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, because I would be technologically challenged to do something different at this point. So Leah Jones. Is she here with us? All right. Well, we're gonna spin till we have a winner. Unless she, does anyone see her in our attendees?
She's not signed in.
Okay. Off we go. Kathy Johnson.
Almost there.
Is Kathy with us?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hello, thank you.
How you doing, Kathy? Do you know what you'd like? There's the $25 gift certificate to Falls General Store, the Mad Taco, Red Hen Baking Co., or the Stowe Street Cafe.
Thank you. The Mad Taco would be great.
All right. And that is, I already removed your name. So Wilson was the last, right? Okay, let me stop share here. And thank you all. Kathy Johnson. So that brings us to the next part of the agenda, right, Linda?
It does.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Bruce Olson. Bruce is the Vermont Democratic Party chair, unanimously elected to lead the Vermont Democratic Party in September 2020, when the former party chair, Terry Anderson, stepped down from his position as party chair due to health reasons. Bruce is the chair of Lamoille County also, and has served as a delegate to the 2020 Democratic National Convention for Senator Bernie Sanders. A member of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers for over 40 years, Bruce worked on critical legislative issues in Washington, D.C., and on political campaigns across America for his union. Bruce resides in Elmore, Vermont. You're up. Take it away, Bruce.
Oh, thank you, Linda. That's quite an introduction you gave me. I want to reiterate the thanks to all the volunteers who worked on the campaigns this month, and actually this whole election season, because really the voting began in September and they continued through Election Day. Your efforts certainly made a difference in terms of being able to do as well as we did. If you think Phil Scott won the governorship by 40 points, and normally you would think when the top of the ticket from a party wins by a margin like that, the House and the Senate would flip. That did not happen. We won all the other constitutional officer positions, and we returned Peter Welch to Washington, D.C., where I know he does an outstanding job for all of us. Now, none of that could have happened without the work of volunteers, and also a lot of dedicated staff members. You know, I see that our executive director, Scott McNeil, is on the call. Our finance director, Kate Olney, who's part of Washington County. Kevin, our outreach and community affairs person, party affairs person, Kevin Burgess, who's been having discussions with people all across the state about how we can make our party better. And also Asha Carroll, who's our communications director. Not here on this call is Spencer Dole, who did so much work in this House campaigns, did a lot of good stuff, and Andy Haddam, who's our data director. A lot of the kind of direction that we take in terms of our messaging and such is based on the data that utilization, and Andy has really been instrumental in helping us use that effectively. I mentioned this, all our staff too, not just the volunteers, because as Kate Olney will tell you, our finance director, who raises money constantly for the party, this is one of the few years really that we've been able to maintain a real staff after the election and begin the work of preparing for 2022. And now we may have done okay in the general election in terms of state elections, but what we've been hearing from Vermont Democrats all across the state is that we can do better, that we can organize better, we can communicate better, we can register people to vote better, we can do all sorts of things that will actually make our party much more effective, and I think be able to take on Phil Scott in 2 years and beat him. We also have to think about going forward that we have a number of state reps who are thinking about retiring. We know there'll be openings. So that means we have to be engaged in the process of candidate recruitment. So if there are some of you who are interested in running, think about it. Let us know. We want to make sure you can get training going forward. So there's a lot that's going to be going on in the next 2 years. But in the meantime, we're really focused on doing an evaluation of how the last election went, and then thinking about what can we do better. And one of the things that we've done is we put out an email address for people to give their input to the party. And that's 2022prep@btdemocrats.org. And you can send us an email if there's something that's bothering you. If there's something you think we can do better, please let us know, because we want your input. This is not a state party. This is your party. You're the ones that make the Democratic Party effective or not. And we need your involvement to make that process happen. I would also add, I'm going to kind of wrap it up here. I know I don't want to take
You're over
too
your
long.
time, but you are my boss, so I don't want to step on your toes.
No, well, I work for the state committee, and I think I see a number of state committee members here, and we're all responsible to them. And if you need to give me the fingers, you go right ahead. But I just want to. I don't want to stop without. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but before I do that, I just want to also congratulate Washington County Chair Linda Gravel, because she, in 2 weeks from today, on December 14th at 10 a.m. in room 11 of the state capitol, will be actually voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as president and vice president. We have this quirky thing called electors. Linda is one of ours, and she'll be there, I know, come hell or high water, snow or sleet or whatever. And we're going to make sure that everything is done properly, and that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be leading us for the next 4 years. And that's something I'm very, very happy about. So congratulations, Linda. And if there are no questions, I would say, I hope everyone has a great holiday season, and be prepared to work in January, because we got a lot of work still to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. You have jumped into the shoes of the state chair with full force. We are so proud of you. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Can't do it without you.
We are a team and unity is important. So to honor our volunteers, we are now going to, I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see. Have I got the right screen up? Can you guys see the spinning wheel?
Yes.
Good. Yes. All right, so here we go. These are all our volunteers that have worked on campaigns, done phone banks, done postcards, worked on forums for candidates. The volunteers that are currently working this meeting today are on this list. There are lots of opportunities, easy jobs and more difficult ones, that anyone who would like to volunteer can get involved with and help out the Vermont Democratic Party, or to help out the Washington County Democrats. We could use volunteers. We expect that the county delegates do step up and take action, and that's why they are our county delegates. So if you are an alternate or a county delegate, you will be asked to volunteer at some time in the next year or so. So here we go on the spin, because we are going to celebrate our volunteers. Ooh! Eileen Blake is our winner. Yoo-hoo! Is she here?
Yes.
All right, and the prizes, let's see, I have the prizes behind the screen here. Let's see if I can get them back again. I'm gonna unshare for a minute. Let you choose.
Okay.
Linda, the Red Hen is there.
The Falls General Store, the Red Hand Baking, and the Stowe Street Cafe.
Okay, we'll go with the Red Hen.
Good choice. I would like personally to thank you for all the work that you have been doing in the Waterbury area, in the visible area on postcards. You are out there all the time, so thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. It's been fun.
So I'm going to go back and share the screen again because we have another to give away.
I think actually 2 more because Molly gave hers to a volunteer.
All right. Okay. Let's see, I got to find my wheel. Here we go. So off we go again. Eric Johnson.
Gotta share your screen, Linda.
Oh, damn. I'm going to have to spin it again, I guess, huh? Well, we got another spin to go. Whoop.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Eric, which one would you like?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I've been thinking a lot about food insecurity, so I'd like to donate one to the Vermont Food Bank. So whichever one that would be suitable.
Maybe the Falls General Store?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will remove this. So this is one to replace what Molly wanted to donate. So Leslie Waltz already won. Didn't she win already?
Yes.
So we're going to remove her and give someone else a chance to win.
These are lucky ladies. Nancy won earlier.
Nancy won already too, right?
Yeah.
One more spin.
Molly wins, then we'll really know.
Ken Roberts.
Ken Roberts is my partner, and he has decided not to join us, so we are spinning again. I hear him in the background. All right, Betty. We have a winner. Is Betty here? Anybody see her checked in? Let's take a look.
She was
She
here.
was checked. She was checked in. I don't know if she's still here, but she was checked in.
Say her whole name.
Elizabeth, Betty, I didn't write down
I'm
her-
here.
Yeah, all right.
I'm
Terrific.
here. I just unmuted myself. You know what I'm thinking, and I hate, well, I think that, did Mary Alice Bisbee say she was like stepping out of something?
Yeah, JP, I think.
And what town has she been JP for?
Montpelier.
Well, I'm going to be in.
Here, I don't need anything. I've been in Montpelier, Moortown, Berlin, and Berry City. but I'm stepping down and I don't need anything either.
Are you sure? Okay. Then I feel like I'd like to give something to the town clerk in Facein. Can I give mine?
Yes, of course. We
to
will.
Patty, because she works so hard. And,
We will-
you know, whatever she would like of the list.
These are very generous people, and they want to celebrate their town clerks and their city clerks. And I think this is wonderful because they're
wonderful.
work hard during the election cycle. So thank you, Betty.
And she's going to be of enormous help to me as I step into this new JP role. So it's going to be good. It's going to be all good.
All right, thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, next on the list is we're going to celebrate our 2020 election winners. Elaine, can you put up the slides?
Hi, Elaine.
Get on the table. That's not where you go.
So here we go. Our Vermont leaders, Peter Welch, Molly Gray, and Becca Ballant. Congratulations to our leaders. To our election winners, Beth Pierce, Jim Condos, Doug Hoffer, and TJ Donovan.
Yes, I don't think it's Doug Hofer, though.
To our state senators, Ann Cummings, Anthony Polina, Andrew Perchlik. Congratulations. These are our House representatives. Henry Pearl, Ephraim Pat, David Yukonovan.
Yakavoni.
Thank you. Jay Hooper, Larry, anybody want to help me with Larry's last name?
Lefkowitz.
Thank you. Peter Anthony, Tommy Walls, Mary Hooper, Warren Fitzmiller, Kimberly Jessup, Janet Ansell, Carrie Dolan, Maxine Grad, Teresa Wood, and Tom Stevens. These are the representatives that are really close in our districts. We should be helping them. They do not have staff, by the way. All the work they do is out of their own initiative. So anything we can do to help these people, we should. So step up and help your House reps. Next, please. This is the high bailiff position, which had no Democrat in it during the primary, and Asa Richardson Skinder stepped up as a write-in candidate and won in the general election. I am so proud of this young man. We need more people to step up like this. He is now the high bailiff for Washington County. Congratulations. Okay. Next we have a prizes.
Can anybody explain what the high bailiff does?
Yeah, he actually keeps his accountability on the sheriff in the county. If the sheriff, that's his basic job.
So he's the sheriff's sheriff.
Yeah, basically. And up until this election, the deputy sheriff, which was also a Republican, was monitoring the Republican sheriff.
There's a good article in the Bridge about this young man, Asa.
So now at least we have a Democrat who's monitoring the Republican sheriff. That's what I know about high bailiffs. Okay, did Jim Condos check in? I don't think so. He was going to be our speaker about the Electoral College. So I guess I'll say a few words on his behalf of how it works. When I started to run for the presidential elector to the Electoral College, I said I wanted to know more about how this works. So basically, a little history is that our four founders thought that the public was not capable of choosing necessarily, and so they had on majority rule basis. So they put in the Electoral College so that there was some oversight on the general public's decision. The Electoral College, therefore, meets on December 14th. We've already gotten our notices about coming to the State House to vote. Vermont has 3 electors. And basically what happens in the presidential election is that the people vote for their electors. And the Republican Party will put up 3 and the Democratic Party puts up 3 in Vermont. And as the votes are becoming certified of who wins the presidential election, the Secretary of State and the party leaders, the chair of the Democratic Party and the chair of the Republican Party and the chair of the Progressive Party, they all get together in the Secretary of State's office and they certify the vote. And then they certify who the 3 electors based upon who won the presidential vote. And so at that time, they certified Terry Anderson, Keisha Ram, and myself for the 3 electors. The 3 of us were voted into this position at the Democratic Platform Convention, which has been the tradition of when those electors get selected. And so only if Biden had won would the Democratic 3 be chosen, and only if Trump had won would the Republican 3 be chosen. And so from there, our 3 votes will be sent to the Congress, and Nancy Pelosi will open them when the Congress comes into session and count all the votes. And that's the way I understand it works. Anybody want to add anything to the discussion?
Hey, Linda, it's Liz. I did just want to mention that the Electoral College came out of systemic racism and was a function around making sure that Southern states, where the majority of their population was people who had been enslaved, still had a full voice in the election of presidents. So it is really important to recognize the racial history of the Electoral College and that it is something we would like to eliminate. So just as you think about what role an elector takes, we would love for you to think about the fact that we would not like to have electors ever again.
It doesn't seem to be very democratic to me, the whole process. But I would like to thank everyone for electing me because it is an honor. So thank you. And now we have, Jane is going to give a prize out for the most festive attire. The most festive attire takes the cake. The prize is from The Chill. They have donated a wonderful cake. Let's see if we can get a photo of our cake.
Linda, I'm having.
Oh, you're not into the spreadsheet, are you?
So, Linda, Jane messaged me through chat and I pulled it up and put it onto the screen and I pulled off those that had already won. So if you want, I could share that.
I think that's a good idea. Let's see if we can take back the screen here. Jane, I think you have to release your screen. Stop sharing.
Stop sharing, okay.
There we go. Now Theo can share.
Okay, let me see whether I can do this. Yes, so here's the group of festive attire, minus those who were lucky winners already. And here we go for a Chill Vermont Gelato custom-made ice cream cake. Thank you for festive attire, Dottie.
Dottie Kyle is our winner. Woohoo, grand prize winner, Dottie.
Eric's gonna love that. He's an ice cream nut.
I would like to thank Theo Kennedy and his wife for donating this wonderful chill cake.
Yes,
Thank
mostly
you.
my wife, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Theo.
Yeah, Dottie, Chill is superb. If you haven't had any of their ice cream yet.
Haven't had any, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Check them out. Woo.
Ow.
Okay, can you put back the screen for new business, please, Elaine? The Georgia Senate runoff elections. Our speakers talked about this. The election is not over. The Georgia Senate runoffs will decide the majority party in the US Senate. It is really important election. There are 2 Senate seats up for election. Stacey Abrams is running Fair Fight. She is one of the ones that got Georgia to elect Joe Biden. She seems to have a lot of influence in Georgia. I am encouraging people to go to the Fair Fight site and either join as a volunteer or make a donation to Fair Fight. There are lots of opportunities that she is offering for phone calls to people in Georgia, for postcarding to Georgia. And the Washington County has joined a postcarding effort. In Vermont, we have sent 60,000 postcards already. This week, they're going out to Georgia residents, encouraging them on a nonpartisan basis to go and vote. Right here in Washington County, we put about 15,000 postcards into the mail this week to help the Georgia Senate runoffs. I'm encouraging you to get involved between now and December. Let's see, the voting starts on the 7th. So we don't have a lot of time left, but there's plenty of work to do. Please join and go to Fair Fight and see what you can offer. Volunteers are definitely needed.
Linda,
Whoop. Try again, Mary Alice.
I said it starts on the 14th, the voting.
No, there's early voting.
Well, if for mail-in, early voting starts on December 14th. I've been writing the postcards.
Okay, thank you.
December 14th and January 5th is the election day.
January 5th is the election, yep. Thank you, Mary Alice.
Okay.
All right, announcements. There will be no December meeting for the Washington County Democratic Committee. It is my month off. So our next meeting is January 25th. And that is a meeting we're going to be making selections for the assistant judge positions. So we will need volunteers to help with the voting. Please send me an email if you would like to help. The different tasks that are involved in that are the things that the volunteers have been doing right here today. They have been doing check-in, they have been doing prizes, they have been doing several different things, and we will have to even add more tasks for a voting election. So please join us. I will be making calls and asking people to volunteer. Are there other announcements? I'm not hearing any.
I'll make an announcement. I want to thank Linda Gravel for all the work that she has put in and wish her a very, very happy holiday season.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dottie.
Way to go, Linda.
Thank you, Dottie. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Oh, thank you very much for coming. Happy holiday season to everyone.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Night,
Take
everybody.
care, everybody. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you to the
Bye.
volunteers that helped on this meeting. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Be well, everybody. Stay safe.
Oh, no, well.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.